And it is great to welcome back to our book talk segment. Very prolific author with another great Peter Ash novel out. Just came out this week. It's called Light It Up. We're joined again by best-selling author Nick Petrie, who joined us, I guess, about 6-8 months ago. And Nick, good to talk with you again. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, Doug. Thanks for having me.
I think it was last maybe spring or summer we had you on when the previous book came out. So you're cranking these out.
I am. My publisher really would like me to be writing a book every year, and readers send me messages on Facebook saying, "Write faster, write faster." Which is a great compliment.
It's a good pressure to have, but when you have successful characters, people want more, right? They want it more quickly. They're used to TV, I guess, where they get one every week.
Well, or you get them all at once, right? We're used to binge watching. So,
that's right.
Yeah. No.
Well, let's talk. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was going to say let's talk about the success of the character Peter Ash. I mean, you've definitely touched a chord there with a lot of people, so they really like this character.
They do. He's a really complex character, and I think. All right, so let me do a little background. He's a Marine Corps veteran, and like a lot of the veterans I've spoken with, he's having a little trouble adjusting to life kind of after his war. And I'm not a veteran myself, so I'm not writing from my own personal experience. But I've talked to a lot of men and women coming home from war and hearing about the challenges they're facing. I was really moved by what they were going through. And so Peter Ash is based on those conversations. He's this capable guy. He's driven. He's got a very strong kind of moral sense. But he's also struggling with this post-traumatic stress, which shows up as claustrophobia. He calls it the white static. So he can't be inside for more than a few minutes without having a panic attack. And I think that's that human combination of strengths and weaknesses that readers are really responding to.
And again, I don't like to give away too much when we talk to novelists, so I won't. I'll try not to anyway. But in this particular story, he goes out to Oregon, right? And he's trying to help out somebody, and a hijacking takes place, and that's kind of where the fun begins, right?
That's right. Well, he meets his friend Henry in Oregon, but they end up in Colorado. His job is basically he's working for a security company. Excuse me. Protecting Colorado's marijuana entrepreneurs from thieves, and when hijackers hit Peter's cash run, he's got to dig pretty deep to save himself, and then figure things out. So things get pretty wild pretty quickly. And it's just the whole cannabis industry, the legalization of it is really fascinating.
Yeah, I know Florida has passed some laws where I guess it's partially legal in certain aspects, but I know out west it's a different situation, isn't it? I know Colorado a few years ago made it pretty much legal everywhere, so that's a big business out there from what I've read.
Oh, it's a $1 billion industry now, and California just legalized what's called recreational use. So they were a big medical marijuana state, but now they've just legalized recreational that kicked in the first of the year, and so this is going to really explode in terms of dollars, and it's run entirely on cash because federal banking regulations essentially won't allow banks to do business with companies that sell recreational marijuana. So imagine if you're running a business and you're bringing in $1 million a month, but you've got to pay your bills and your employees in cash.
Right.
Imagine, these folks have to pay their federal taxes in cash. So they need armed guards to protect their businesses. And, hey, drugs, money, and guns, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I guess, because the credit card industry and the whole they don't recognize it as legal yet, right? So they will not accept payment with credit cards or checks, right?
Right. It's legal on a state level, but it's not legal on a federal level.
Yeah, interesting.
And it's kind of this gray area. We don't quite know how it's all going to end. And it's actually been in the news recently because the Attorney General just basically said, the previous administration had said, well, we're going to kind of stay hands off, and we're going to see how the states deal with this, and let the states, pursue this social experiment. And the new Attorney General said, we're going to empower our federal prosecutors to sort of, do what they want to do. So it's, there's been this recent uproar because people have invested a huge amount of money, and states are collecting taxes on the money too. So it's just fascinating to watch.
And then again, that takes place in your storyline where this kind of a hijacking takes place. Peter Ash, I guess, almost feels like he's back in combat again, doesn't he?
He does, and there's a plus and a minus to that. And the folks that I've talked about who have been in combat, they almost to a person, they hate war and they never want to go back, but they also, in a way, kind of miss it because the adrenaline hit is really addictive. And they also miss the very clear sense of mission, of protecting the men and women that they're serving with, and they also miss those deep bonds that are made during in combat units. And so Peter doesn't he wants the best of both worlds, and it doesn't always go that way.
Yeah, in a sense, as traumatic as it is, they know that environment, right? They know how to handle themselves in it, and when they're not in it, that's when the stress hits them later. But when they're in it, they kind of thrive on it, right? Right.
And, I think post-traumatic stress is really sort of one of the issues of our time, and it is something at least we're getting better at talking about and getting better at figuring out kind of how to help people, kind of move through these issues, and that's almost. In a way, that's kind of my little mission with these books is to talk about it, because that's in a way kind of the first step for veterans is to talk to other veterans about their experiences. That's really kind of the way to begin working through these issues.
Has Peter changed? I guess this is the third novel you've done with Peter, or that character, right? Has he changed much since the first one?
He's changing slowly. The thing that I have heard the most from veterans is that war never really leaves you. You might get better at working with your symptoms, but I talk to folks who served in Vietnam who still think about it every day. It is such a profound experience, and for someone like me who never served, and I think of most Americans who we have this all volunteer military now, so most Americans really don't quite understand what it's like. And I guess part of my goal is to sort of help share, by telling these stories, sort of what that's like, and what's one person's sort of navigation through that.
Yeah, I'm sure, like you've said, you get a lot of feedback from veterans, right? From reading the books, and I guess you just do your own research. You talk to many, so that must be interesting.
Oh, absolutely. Honestly, it's the best part of my job. I really love it. Veterans reach out to me all the time, but veterans reach out to me all the time, and it is the best part of my job, is hearing their stories and having these conversations. And when they tell me that some particular part of the character or a story meant something to them, as a writer, that's the best gift you can get.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, the name of the book is called Light It Up. We've been talking with Nick Petrie again. And Nick, once again, give out that website. People can get more information about the book.
NickPetrie.com. It's pretty easy to find, and you can also find me on Facebook.
Great. Nick, pleasure talking to you. Good luck with this one. I'm sure we'll talk to you, hopefully, if not this year, early next year when the next one comes out. But thanks for being with us today.
Oh, it's been my great pleasure, Doug. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.
If you'd like to order the book we're talking about, please go to DougMilesMedia.com and enter the author's name in the Amazon search box. Thank you for listening. Please come back soon for more conversations here at DougMilesMedia.com. This has been a presentation of Doug Miles Media, all rights reserved. You can listen to or download previous programs at iTunes, Stitcher.com, or DougMilesMedia.com.